Now feel free to chime in with any ideas or anything that you've seen at the show, wanted to talk about in terms of Vanco, tech-wise, or whatever, just keeping it casual. So again, this is Beers with Brandon. Some of the other ones that we're doing, I love this picture so much. Classic. So Frank is doing the CEDIA deep dive, so some of the new products that are coming out with Vanco and the Vanco brands. His sessions were at, well, 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. my time. I believe yours time in Central would be 10 and 1. And then tomorrow is going to be the same time. So feel free, definitely, if you haven't seen that, check it out, see what's new with Vanco, things that are upcoming and things that already come out. So, and also for those who are not familiar with that picture, we just happened to have glamour shots one day at the office when I was there, and we noticed that we had a very, very similar shirt. So naturally, this happened. Well, I don't know if that's natural or unnatural. I don't know, but here it is. This is actually one, and I posted this on LinkedIn. It's funny because I think this ended up being like my second or third highest viewed post on LinkedIn. I think within a week it had about 4,000 views or something crazy like that. It's a keeper. So definitely good to keep frame, save for a rainy day there. So. Another one that I've been doing is the 6-pack of solutions. So 6 products worth having on the truck. Save time and money on a moment's notice. Good plan B to have. Don't need to go back on site, worry about any of that. These products truly come in handy and save time and money. So tomorrow I'll be doing those again at noon Eastern and 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you haven't checked that out, feel free to come back tomorrow. Happy to see you guys. Actually had some really good news today as well. So we won an award, a CE Pro Best Product Award for the CEDIA. So what product that is, you ask? I call this our Make All Dreams Come True Matrix. It is an 8x10 HD base T matrix. Compatible full 4K, 60 Hz, 444 with HDR. Has a built-in audio matrix. Actually has 4 additional audio inputs to go along with each audio, analog or digital audio port for each zone. Able to be routed any which way you want. Up to 100 meters for 4K and 150 meters for 1080p. 8 HDMI inputs and outputs that are mirrored with HD-Base-T. You also have additional 2 HDMI outputs. What's really nice with this is because of the audio matrixing, what we really wanted to do is kind of have this tie into another brand in technology that we already introduced. So this has been developed with Evo Skills being available on one of the one of the audio inputs. This Evo Skills will allow audio to be embedded automatically on, which is going to be great in terms of like commercial view or even residential for paging purposes, you know, telling the kids dinner's ready in their rooms when they're watching TV or playing their games, just having a little brief little blip in the audio that they have on their displays or in their zone to be able to give information. So that will be automatically built in. I have drivers, RS-232 and IP. Something called contextual IR. So this is really meant to be a complete system in a box. Contextual IR is so if you pick up the remote, you'll be able to point it to a TV and you'll be able to automatically just kind of know what room you're in. So it'll know exactly which room wants the channels changed, for example. So this is a little bit of a unique feature. Of complete Alexa control capabilities, remote monitoring, POH. I mean, this literally has everything. ARC, CEC. What's really unique is it also has capability to have no touch sync and control. So we'll have little discs that will be able to be provided, as well as an additional accessory, where you touch your phone on this disc, then all of a sudden you're able to control that zone from your phone. And I don't mean just in terms of switching audio and video. I mean also in terms of being able to control that TV, volume up, volume down, power on, power off, as well as your source, play, forward, rewind, up, down, left, right, you name it. So complete CEC control, no touch sync control. Really excited about this, and was pleasantly surprised when we heard the good news this morning from CE Pro and CEDIA. So something to keep a lookout for. Should be out. We're aiming towards the end of the year. So.
Yeah, and to add to that, you know, the popularity of HDMI over IP, and rightfully so, it's great technology. You know, we haven't seen our matrix unit sales slow down. You know, some people still prefer it. There's pros and cons of both. You know, obviously with HDMI over IP, you know, right now it is really commercial based. You know, with what it can do feature wise, especially with digital signage, video walls. But you're also dealing with a compressed signal. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon. HD-based-T is a compressed signal, but typically you might get a better picture out of it. So this may make sense for more of a residential application. You know, I'm actually running both at my home right now for testing purposes. I'm running an 8x8 and obviously HDMI over IP as a test. And you know, I prefer a matrix unit myself because, you know, let's face it, residential application in terms of a network, you know, I have a pretty simple network. So
this is going to be a great solution. Definitely residential because of the CEC. I mean, I think that could certainly spiral out of control a little bit from the commercial standpoint. But even because of the no touch sync, I mean, you turn CEC off as a feature. You know, imagine sitting at a table and having full control of what you want at your TV. You know, like a sports bar. Put your phone on this little disc, sync it up, and all of a sudden you could change channels for that specific source. So even for basic things like that, it'll work. I think a lot in general, especially in commercial hospitality, the no touch, you know, syncing and control, anything that's no touch has been obviously for unfortunate circumstances has been emerging quite a bit. So, but this will certainly allow you to do that. So very excited about this. This will be Dolby licensed as well. So be able to down mix as needed. So looking forward to this. Like I said, I've been calling this the make all dreams come true matrix because it does. I mean, it's meant to do plug, play, walk away. It has built-in signal generators for tech support purposes. So if you're not getting a signal, you could actually check your HDMI cable. You could actually check your HD-based-T outputs to see the integrity of that cable and see if there's an issue going through there. So literally everything just right into one. So really looking forward to this. Again, going to be aiming more towards the end of the year. So certainly see what happens. Yeah, so really excited about that news. HDMI 2.1 is closer than we think. You know, that's one thing also I just kind of wanted to throw out there. You know, Xbox Series X is expected to be released November 10th. PlayStation 5, I've heard all sorts of dates, anywhere between the 13th and the 20th of November. Unique though is I learned about an hour ago, PlayStation 5 is actually going to have a live demo of some of the games that are going to be released today. So you definitely get to get a taste of and see what's going on with that. Certainly going to, you know, a lot of the HDMI 2.1 specs and features really aim towards the gaming side of life, you know, in terms of the refresh rates and being able to adjust for latency or reduce or even eliminate latency, because that's always a very hard thing to do when you're dealing with that much bandwidth, you know, up to 48 gigs. So. Also, because of the CTS being released, there's a new state, you know, phrase and features that will probably be heard quite a bit more. HDMI 2.0, we became very acclimated to the, you know, 4K at 60 hertz, 444 chroma, HDR, Dolby Vision, all that. Well, it's going to be changing, obviously, because it's a whole different beast. Some of the more common things you're probably going to hear when you talk about HDMI 2.1, 8K, 48 gigabits. Well, how that's done, it's 48 gigs over 4 lanes of 12 gigabits FRL or fixed rate. So, I mean, this is going to be more common to be heard out in the field. So before with HDMI, it was TMDS based. Now it's going to be called, it's really going to be FRL based. Then you also get the fun features of EARC or enhanced ARC, faster, best response, better response times, better quality of audio, and then dynamic HDR, which as it would imply is HDR, but even better. So all these are really around the corner. We're adjusting accordingly to have these certification and these cables released. So would certainly expect that in the near future. Aiming for around the same time as these, but we'll definitely keep everyone updated. But it's been interesting. I mean, what have you guys heard so far in terms of what's the feel been for HDMI 2.1 out there? I know there's been a lot of hesitation to an extent, or a lot of people that's just kind of jumped on the bandwagon. I don't want to say blindly, but I mean, just kind of, it's the newest, the latest and greatest. I need it. I want it. I have it. Now what? So that's kind of been a big part of it, is where are we now with this? So let me, well, that's that. So let me do this. If I can, trying to stop sharing. I stopped sharing. There we go. But yeah, I mean, essentially, Frank, in terms of your trainings, things that you've heard, especially through tech support, I know tech support's, when you have that transition between 720p and 1080p was interesting. 1080p to 1080p 3D, that was sort of a nightmare at first. Going from 1080p to 4K, you get a little bit of, there's that little bit of haziness, and we're going to get that additionally. But what have you guys seen from the tech side, or what have you heard from trainings and other customers like that?
In terms of the trainings, it's been tough because it's all been virtual, right? And typically, in-person trainings, you get a lot of feedback. The main deal with HDMI 2.1 and 8K in general was, well, yeah, you can get the TVs, and the TVs are let's face it, they're stupid expensive, and there were no sources out there. That's going to change starting next month, right? Because actually this month you can actually pre-order the Xbox One X, right? Which is going to be the first 8K source out to market, and once that's released, now it becomes mainstream. And I think that is where we're going to get all the requests for 8K cabling, 8K HDMI distribution products like extenders, like splitters. Right now our 8K cable, the longest one we can go is what, 6 feet, correct? So it's not a long way to go. And typically when you're working with Xboxes and PlayStations and anything that's either 4K or 8K, all these sources are being put in a closet within a rack, not underneath the TV anymore. That's not really the norm anymore, right? You're hiding that away. So I know that you're working on solutions to extend it even further, maybe using fiber optics, maybe using just fiber cables. So I haven't had too many on the tech support side, obviously, because on the tech support side we are dealing with current product, but haven't had any requests yet. But again, I think that's going to change rather quickly. The other aspect of that is what we're going through all right now with this pandemic and people staying at home, and people basically working on their home, right? Whether it's patios, whether it's pools. The other big thing is AV, and we've seen our business grow throughout this pandemic, which is honestly quite weird, right? Because people are staying home and they're thinking, well, I've got to update all my equipment at home because I'm spending more time at home, and that includes their home AV system. So I think with that in mind, I think technology will move even faster during this period of what we're going through right now.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, it's been weird. This has been a weird year. I mean, I don't think anyone could even argue that one. It's been a different beast on many levels. It's really hard to really even put it into words how this year has been. But I mean, I think one thing, that has been shown from this, and, is that we can really utilize technology to the most to solve our problems. It maybe require a little bit of thinking outside the box for things, but I think that's really helped tremendously with that. So, I mean, like for example, I mean, our new product, our HD CAPT1, that's going to be very helpful. I mean, there's a lot of schools that still don't have solutions for, well, plan A is we're going to do hybrid, or plan A is we're going to be in school. Whatever the case may be regionally, I mean, they all have their reasons for that, certainly. It is what it is. But then having that plan B in place, that plan C, I think that's really where we can come in and really help out as an industry, because these are a lot of the things that we've worked with, whether it's products. One thing I've talked about and I've showed is our EVSW 21MV. Just having something like that where it's the one product, you push a button, you have different outcomes to be used with a capture device for streaming either locally or just have multiple units on TV. I've mentioned it. I think we had something with our wireless extenders with that product. Just different ways to think out of the box to problem solve with what you have around you. And I think that's one thing that's really emerged from all this, which is a positive thing, because I think that was necessary. So we'll see how it goes. HDMI 2.1 will be good. I think we're really going to be expecting some additional. We're already looking a little bit more into the ARC side of it. I think that's going to be the easiest side to tackle. Our passive cables will be certified up to 3 feet now. So that's a nice little bonus. That'll be moving forward. We get extra 3 feet there. That will definitely come in handy. I guarantee it, actually. We've been looking into active cables. It's a little bit of a different beast in terms of the certification. Not going to be really out there yet, but we are working very closely with HDMI. So that's been a very positive process, ultimately, especially as of this year. They've been great. All things being considered, they've really pushed forward, and really looking forward to what's going to come of it. Looking forward to testing out that Xbox. Hope there's 8K Tony Hawk.
Get your pre-order in.
Get it in. So, well, anyone else? I mean, I'm more than happy to hear from anyone else, either on the chat. I mean, decent size here. I don't know. Anything else you would want to be said? Thoughts about the CEDIA format this year? I think we all would love to have been in Denver at the moment. It's a great city. It's a great convention center. Had some great memories. I saw some posts on LinkedIn last night from Tim Castor of Castor Communications, and kind of reminiscing about other shows in past years. Maybe this is the first one I haven't gone to in a while, but I think it's all about making the most of the moment and seeing what we can do from that. So be happy to hear other experiences. I know we probably all want to be in Denver, but could always make the most of it. So like I said, right now would be keg time. So cheers to that. How about any other feedback from other products, other companies out there? Welcome to type in the chat on the right. Or, if you have a question that you just want to answer, if that's any easier, I'd say go for it. You can unmute and get crazy, see what happens. Rachel, you actually asked a great question. Any positives of having a virtual show? I would say yes and no. There's a learning curve that I think we've had. The same thing was for Infocom, though. There's a little bit of a learning curve in terms of, how to go about it. But I think it can still be a very positive thing in terms of being able to get out there, get out there and be noticed by different customers, especially on our end. Kind of have a lot of access just at your fingertips. So I think that certainly helps out. Those Beal speakers are absolutely mind-blowing. What do you think, Frank?
You know what? It's a great speaker. I actually run it home. I'm not just saying that either. Listen, I have a set of clipses that they're open back. They're in my family room. The only reason why I haven't replaced them with Beal is because the cutout's different. I run Beal in my basement. It's an unfinished basement. What I did was I bought those drywall squares from Home Depot and ran a 7.2 in my basement. I'm actually in my basement right now. And I watch, obviously, the projector downstairs a lot when there's football games, when there's basketball games at night. And yeah, you can barely hear it, and it's right up top is the kitchen. So where my kids, where my wife is all the time, and that sound resonance, it's really legit. I'm not just saying that because I work for the company. I really believe in the technology. The LCRs are my absolute favorite. Randy knows about that. I run 2 of those in my kitchen, right on top of the cabinet where no one can see, and all of a sudden you got sound coming out, music coming out of the cabinets. People are looking around, like, where are the speakers at? They're great speakers. We're going to continue to add to that line, obviously, with our amplifiers. I'm looking honestly forward to new products like maybe a sound bar, hopefully, pretty soon. I know that we're working on landscape speakers, which I'm testing right now, right? So we've got some prototypes that I'm currently testing on my patio, which I was really excited for. They've been running without any issues. Looking for those rock speakers though, Brandon. So if you can hook that up, let me know. But again, with the bill line, it's going to continue to grow. We're excited about the brand and the possibilities of audio. All of us at Vanco have been waiting for an audio line, like be able to come around and to start adding product to it. I think the limit as far as adding products is way up there.
No, absolutely. I mean, always looking to change things up, get better, get more, see what we can do for the market, certainly. One thing that was released, because ultimately, believe we are familiar with the store. We purchased Beale Street Audio a few years ago. So since then, we've actually released more models of Beale Street. So we have a new between the stud LCR, which really helps kind of round out in terms of the in-wall type of speakers. It's a great LCR in terms of center channel. Had that in my basement before the great flood of 2020, because why not 2020? Happened in my basement, but essentially had those up and running. Absolutely fantastic, really rounded out and completed that kind of surround type of environment. So our in-room subwoofers, that kind of helped out greatly for those who weren't able to kind of be able to put one of our subs in their ceilings. We now have in-room amplified subwoofers ready to go. So it's going to be continuing to grow. Looking into other options, in-wall, on-wall, size options. So just continue to grow. That's the best we could do.
Yeah, I mean, 70 volts grown as well. If you guys, again, did not get a chance to join in on my session, we covered the new 2.1 channel amplifiers, which are awesome, the BA251 and the 2101. 50 watt and 100 watt respectively. And again, the key feature there is you can run that any room. It IR learns. We did a firmware update where it basically learns from any IR remote. So you can do volume up, volume down, mute, source selection from any IR remote, including your TV remote, your cable box remote, your Blu-ray player remote. So it's seamless in terms of setting up a 2.1 channel in a bedroom. Okay. I run a 5-channel in my master bedroom, but before that I ran a 2-channel where I was struggling to find an amp for that. So those 2 amps are a perfect example of a solution for, again, a smaller bedroom, just for 2.1 with a subwoofer, and again using your TV remote, so it's seamless.
Absolutely. No, I agree. And it's even for the in-room subwoofers. I almost forgot to mention this before, so apologize for skipping, and it's just how you're cranking on me so at this point. So but essentially what's really nice is they are a pretty nice form factor. What's something that's really pretty unique about them is the form factor. I mean, there's not a whole lot of ones that would be even equivalent to that kind of a size. Very easy to put wherever you need to. Not that you want to put them in the corner, because we all know that's not always the best spot for them, but it is very nice to have that kind of flexibility because of that small size. So how's everything else going? Let's see. Hello, Dee and Michael and Aaron. How's everything going? Let's have a nice little chat here. Welcome to chime in. It's pretty small group, so welcome to chime in however you'd want.
Habita.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Sorry, guys.
I just
been a long
hopped in here,
day.
guys. So I'll be joining tomorrow. I just got out of another webinar, so sorry about my late attendance.
No worries at all. How's the show been going for you with all those webinars today?
It's been going pretty well. It was basically, you know, Sony's big, you know, a big thing today, so that's what I hopped out of. But yeah, well attended, and yeah, seems to be going fairly good.
Cool.
See the PlayStation 5 demoed? I think that's this hour or in the next hour, I think.
What's that?
The PlayStation 5, I think, was going to be
Oh
demonstrated.
no, yeah, so this was just the CI stuff, so they didn't touch it.
Gotcha. I think that is online. I could see what I could do to post a link to it, certainly, but I saw that. I think it's this hour, next hour, they're having live demo with some games. Be able to see kind of what it looks like on their TVs. They have quite a few, I think, certified HDMI 2.1 TVs at this point. So
That's correct, they do.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Again, I really hope they have Tony Hawk, and yeah, I need that in life. Why not?
For sure.
And I've been able to sit in on all three of your sessions today, and they've all been very helpful and very informative, guys. So great job.
Thank you very much. Do you appreciate that?
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Has it been pretty busy on your end with all these webinars?
Yeah, but you know, almost feel a little webinared out, you know, given the circumstances. But it goes with the territory, right?
Yes, it does. And I will tell you, we started obviously doing these webinars at the start of the pandemic, and people started getting webinared out after about the first month or so. So, you know, every show is obviously you got a lot of webinars, and it'll pass, but you know, hopefully we can get back to seeing you guys in person at the actual show. I think that's what we enjoy, is showing you guys this product in person. That way you can actually see it, figure out what it does, actually have live demos of stuff. So hopefully we'll get there.
Your training videos were great, though. I will say that. You know, obviously, yeah, the webinar thing, you can get webinared out. But when you can do it in your own time, you can do as many sessions as you want to do, as you can fit in. That's been helpful, and they're really well done. You guys really nailed it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You know, if you haven't already, please sign up for our Vanco Online Training Center. It's on our website, and again, same deal. It's not webinars, but rather it's an online training resource where you can sign up and you can take trainings whenever you want. And you know, the important thing about that is the way we designed it with the modules. It takes no longer than about 20 minutes each, and we only have 2 modules there. Right now, we're working on more, but once you take those modules, it actually opens up a bunch of other training resources for you, including what's called a quick reference tool, where you can walk a job and figure out, hey, what kind of speaker do I need for this job, and it'll help you out.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Hey,
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Frank, speaking of the online stuff, because you guys had the case studies, you know, some different things, including some stuff in our market, and just kind of expanding on that, if you wanted to, you basically do like an on-site walkthrough video with the guy, like, you know, walk into a restaurant case, this is what we're up against, this is what we had to do, what the requirements were, and you can have it with notes along the side, bullet points, you're going through it, and then he could walk you through like how they put the stuff together, where they put it, because you can, that gives you room to put in like best practice stuff as well, which is value add.
Aaron, that's a great idea. I've never heard of that idea, but I think that absolutely makes sense. You know, Brandon, you and I could, well, you know, once we get back to traveling, and we've done residential, commercial, franchise locations. I think that's a great idea. Brandon is actually a former integrator, so he and I could do, you know, possibly a video walkthrough like that. You know, Rachel is our marketing person. It looks like she hopped off, but I'll definitely mention that, Aaron. Thank you very much for that. That's actually really helpful.
Yeah, because and the reason, you know, there have been like the home and garden shows and stuff like that, like the TV shows where they're you know, where they're doing the stuff at the house, and they do kind of a mini version of that with like each of the contractors and stuff like that, and like these are the requirements, this is how we did it, and you see, and they're able to kind of line it out and walk through it with guys, you know, and so the people at home watching this like, oh, okay, so you could potentially even turn that into some end user approach if you want to, because Vanco is well known within the industry. But let's be honest, somebody who doesn't know much about audio video, they see Vanco, what are they thinking?
Right.
Thinking Vanco?
I agree with you. Yeah, that's a great idea. We certainly appreciate that. That's something I'll certainly bring up with Rachel and see if we can't get that done. Hopefully later this year, if not early next, when we can start traveling again.
It was divide and conquer the markets. I mean, I got upstate New York for whatever that's worth. Great upstate New York. Bunch of things going on over here. So.
Yeah, thank you for that, Aaron.
No, great. Awesome. All right, well, what do you think, sir?
I think we're good. Unless anybody else has any other questions, feedback, again, we certainly appreciate your time. This is more of a laid back kind of deal where we discuss pretty much some of our new products, but we wanted to hear from you guys, so we appreciate the feedback. But if you guys have any other questions, more than happy to help you out even afterwards. Excuse me, that's my email coming up. But you can always reach out to us. Again, if you guys need any more training, I'm always available to do one-on-ones via webinars. Again, hopefully I can do that in person for you. Again, Brandon's in charge of our new product development, and he's done a great job of doing so. If you guys have any ideas for him, please let him know, because all the ideas from integrators that we get on the tech support line, and even training side of things, we bring it up to him. We escalate those emails and requests to him, and he's done a great job of saying, okay, that makes sense. Let's try to push a product out. And we're a small enough company. I know that we're well known in the industry, but believe it or not, we're a small enough company to push out products pretty fast.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, certainly appreciate everyone's time. If you want to come by tomorrow, I'm sure the 9/17 show will be completely different from the 9/16 show. Don't forget to tip your waiter, and appreciate everything. Appreciate the time. And again, if you haven't checked out our other trainings, certainly feel free to check them out. If you need additional information or anything emailed over, let us know, and happy to help out.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Gentlemen.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.